When using the same software application over a long period of time, you may find yourself looking for a way to customize the application to suit your aesthetic taste, or look for a way to automate mundane tasks. Scribus provides a means for you to do both by allowing you to set personal preferences that will take effect each time you open the app, create a new document, or add an item to your layout. In this video, we're going to discuss modifying personal preferences in Scribus in order to boost your productivity. So let's get started.
Welcome to class.
When the application starts up, we will not need to create a new document. So when the new document wizard appears, let's select Cancel to close the window. Opening the Preferences control panel. To open the Preferences control panel, you can select File and then Preferences. Once the Preferences control panel appears, you should see a vertical list of categories on the left of the window and the associated settings and values on the right. Depending on the version of Scribus you're running, the Preferences control panel may look a little different than what you see here. User Interface. Two of the most common preferences changed when using Scribus are under the User Interface category. Having the User Interface category selected, you should see a tab labeled Main Window. On this tab, under the Appearance section, you have the ability to adjust the application's theme or predefined color palette, along with changing the used icon set. On the same tab, you can adjust the font sizes used in menus and palettes. This is really useful if you have a hard time reading smaller user interface fonts on the screen. Paths. The Paths category gives you the ability to change the location on your computer for where the various Scribus documents are stored. So, you can select individual storage locations on your computer for documents, color profiles, scripts, and even templates. Keyboard shortcuts. The Keyboard Shortcuts category provides the ability to assign keyboard shortcuts to various tasks that Scribus can perform, such as saving and printing or inserting frames. If you're coming from another desktop publishing application and are familiar with the other software's keyboard shortcuts, you can add or edit Scribus's defaults to reduce your individual learning curve. In this regard, it's always better to spend your time accomplishing your task rather than learning how to accomplish your task. Document Setup. It can be very beneficial to make adjustments to the preferences under the Document Setup category to suit your individual needs. The preferences set in the Document Setup category will directly impact the pre-populated values on the new document wizard. In this category, one of the first things you should look at should be on the General tab and under the Page Size section. Depending on what type of layout you're creating in Scribus, it may make life easier to set the page size to a specific value, such as A4 or letter, or set it to custom and specifically define the default page width, height, and orientation. Depending on where you're from, it might be important to set the page units to a unit of measure you're more comfortable with, such as millimeters or inches. Under the Document Setup category, you can also set the default values for page layout, such as single or facing pages. There is even a tab for setting your layout's margin and bleeds. If you are planning on using Scribus to create books for Amazon KDP or another print-on-demand service, it is definitely beneficial to find out what your print-on-demand service requires and set these values before you start your project. Having these values preset allows you to not have to think about setting them up each time you start a new project. Instead, you can start Scribus, create a new document, and jump right into working through your layout. Item Tools. If you've been adding elements to your document layout, you may have noticed that each item is added with predefined dimensions unless they are specifically altered while being added. The Item Tools category allows you to set default creation preferences for each of the Scribus tools that can be added to the document. In order to improve your efficiency, I recommend that before you start each project, that you review your preferences for text frames. It is much faster to add a text frame and start typing than it is to add a frame, type some content, open the Content Control panel, change the font family, change the font size, Okay, I'm going to stop there. You get the idea. One preference I suggest you change right away in the Item Tools category is under the Images tab. Under the scaling section, if it's not already set, you should change free scaling to scale image to frame size and make sure the keep aspect ratio option is selected. As Scribus is intended for desktop publishing and not graphic art, there is not a significant amount of value in adjusting preferences for the remaining tools. Fonts. The Fonts Preferences category is another good set of preferences you should take a look at. By default, Scribus will enable nearly all fonts available on your computer to be used in your documents. Although this sounds great, it can actually reduce your productivity. Additionally, not all print-on-demand services support every font that can be found on the internet. The Fonts Preferences allows you to add and remove fonts from a list of fonts that you can use in your layouts. Do note that this is a preference and not a rule, so if you remove a font from the list, as long as it's still installed on your computer, you can add it back in later. Printer. Finally, let's take a look at the printer category. As you could probably expect, these preferences allow you to set up and configure the printer you plan on using from within the Scribus application. For most of us, this will likely be a small, personal, at-home styled printer. However, these settings can also be used to set up and configure industrial commercial printers used for bulk printing as well. If you don't have a printer, you can configure a virtual printer and print to a file that will be saved to your computer as well. Scribus has several preferences that you can set that can be used to significantly reduce your learning curve, but more importantly, save you time. In this video, we briefly discussed setting user interface, path, keyboard shortcut, document setup, tools, fonts, and even printer preferences. If this video helped you, or you would like to have us cover a specific topic regarding preferences in Scribus, or if you have any questions, be sure to let us know in the comments section. See you in the next one.